Hello, hello. Bear with me on my technical slowness here. Sorry about the little bit of a delay. I just want to check to make sure everything's working real quick here. Looks like you can hear my voice. That's really all I care about. I want to share something with you guys that just became more real to me for some reason. What I have going on your screen there is maybe self-explanatory to you, depending on if you read the Bible, if you read the book of Revelation. There's a war in heaven. Anyway, that's not so important. I want to show you something that I've been realizing just last night. I kind of realized this, and it was as I was making a TikTok video, which I've learned is TikTok is a interesting place. I'll put it that way. Okay, let me find my program here and let me do this. All right, you guys should see the Book of Enoch on there now on your screen. And okay, so even to me, the thing that I'm going to talk about is pretty crazy. The thing that I'm realizing, I think I'm realizing, I don't really know. I'm just trying to share it with you guys to see what you guys think. Thank you, Zilra and Rocha and Deb Woods. Good morning, both of you, and anyone here. So let's just do this. We've got some. Okay, this happened just well, not that one. Where is it? Okay, well, let's just watch. We don't even really need to watch that. Let's see here. Let's go back to the Book of Enoch. I just want to read you something to get you the idea, because it's something. It is crazy, I think. So let's just read this chapter in the Book of Enoch, and it'll kind of give an idea, or this is where I partially get my thinking on something here. Verse 1 says, And they took and brought me to a place in which those who were there were like flaming fire. And when they wished, they appeared as men. And they brought me to the place of darkness, and to a mountain the point of whose summit reached to heaven. And I saw the places of the luminaries, and the treasuries of the stars, and of the thunder, and in the uttermost depths, where were a fiery bow and arrows and their quiver, and a fiery sword, and all the lightnings. Okay, the depth is darkness. It's a dark place, a place of darkness. And there's a mountain there that reaches up to heaven, whose summit reached to heaven. Okay, so the summit of this mountain is up to heaven. But this is where the stars are. This is a great abyss of darkness. Okay, it's in the firmament of heaven. When I think of the firmament of heaven, I think of the dome. But then I think of really what is involved in that realm, or that place. In all the heavens, there's several things going on, and there's a place of darkness at the bottom of the heavens, and it happens to be our night sky. That's what God called it, night. He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Okay, this is simple biblical cosmology. The darkness upon the face of the deep, that is in the sky. And the deep is the abyss, this abyss of darkness. Okay, so it says right here, they brought me to a place of darkness, and to a mountain, the point of whose summit reached to heaven. And I saw the places of the luminaries and the treasuries of the stars, and of the thunder, and in the uttermost depths, where were a fiery bow and arrows in their quiver, and a fiery sword and all the lightnings. And I'll just read the rest of this chapter. It says, "And they took me to the living waters, and to the fire of the west, which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to a river of fire, in which the fire flows like water, and discharges itself into the great sea towards the west. I saw the great rivers, and came to the great river, and to the great darkness, and went to the place where no flesh walks. I saw the mountains of the darkness of winter, and the place whence all the waters of the deep flow. I saw the mouths of all the rivers of the earth, and the mouth of the deep." Okay. Welcome, guys. So, basically, the first verse here is where I'm going here. And if you've looked at the tabs I have open, you might get an idea where we're going to go here. So, let me read verse 1 again, and then we're going to listen to a video. Okay, "And they took me and brought me to a place in which those who were there," so there was something in this place that he called those, and he said they were like flaming fire, and when they wished, they appeared as men. Okay, so they appeared as men, but they're maybe different as men because they only appeared as men. But let's just listen to this right here.
"And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet."
Okay, could you guys hear that? I just want to make sure that you guys could hear that. I'm just going to reread it just in case. "For they are..." I got to go back just a little bit because I don't know it by heart. "And I saw 3 unclean spirits, like frogs, come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet." Okay. Let's, first of all, this is, this is 9 or 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you guys. This is the first time that a dragon capsule, a little horn-shaped vehicle made of metal, made of steel and plastic and whatever, was attached to the space station, and it brought cargo and supplies up to the space station, almost as if it was giving the space station its power or its ability to do what it does, because that's what's happened for the last 10 years. A lot of people have been ignoring it, saying it's all fake, but they've got a lot to learn on that. I used to think the same thing, but this is much more sinister than that. There's no humans lying to the world about the shape of the world or about space. That's a wonderful way to look at it. But that's not what's happening. That's not the truth, okay? The truth is important, but let me just play a little bit of this. I'll skip through a little bit.
Houston on Space to Ground 2, you have a go for Step 6, Ingressing Dragon.
So they're going to open the hatch to this Dragon capsule, okay? And you can kind of see down where I'm scrolling there, they're working on opening the hatch. So then here they get it open. I gotta turn my volume up a little.
This is Mission Control Houston. Official hatch opening time for the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft, 4:53 a.m. Central Time.
Okay. Let's see. We'll
So
skip a little more.
The Expedition 31 crew getting their first look inside this brand new spacecraft that arrived at the space station yesterday. Is up there as well as the rest of the crew.
Just wait a minute here. Sorry, guys. They could do kind of like a little interview.
Pettit is being assisted by Oleg Kononenko and Andrei Kuipers.
Oops, where is
Kuipers
it?
was inside the cupola yesterday as Pettit was.
Maybe
using
they
the
don't do the
robotic
interview
arm
here.
to reach out
Anyway.
and grab onto Dragon and install it.
Sorry, just give me a minute. I'm just trying to show you something. Let's do this. there'll be a current video. Let's just see here. I think it was called
Mission
Crew
Control
4.
Houston, once again, the hatch is now open, as you can see, between the Dragon spacecraft
No,
and
it's
the
Crew
International
5, I
Space
think.
Station. The crew is
Crew
working pretty
5.
quickly through the timeline
Whoops.
today.
Sorry, guys.
Official hatch opening time was 4:53 a.m. Central Time, 5:53 a.m. Eastern.
So Crew 5 hatch opening we're going to look up. I just want to show you something that's totally makes sense to me in a way that it didn't 2 days ago. I don't know. I'm just trying to share my thinking here. Okay, so this just happened. I'd watch it on NASA's channel so that it's all official. But whatever channel, it doesn't really matter. We'll watch it on Sci News, I guess. After this ad, so a frog. If there was okay, if there was a spirit, do you know what a spirit looks like? What does a spirit look like? What if a spirit took the form of a human being? Okay, so they just open the hatch. They're coming out of the hatch of the Dragon. Like, they're coming, literally, they're floating out of the Dragon. Okay?
And last but not least, Anna Kikina of Roscosmos just
Look at that hair.
the International Space Station.
Whoops.
And Crew 5 is officially ingressed from Dragon Endurance into their home for the next 6 months, the International Space Station.
Okay, see how they're all, like, they're not walking on the floor. They're not, like, they're just kind of, like, floating around, right? So I know this seems crazy, what I'm kind of saying. Are these people? You tell me. They look like people, okay?
And with the addition of Crew 5 on board, there is currently 11 astronauts inside the International Space Station.
Okay, so there's people in there. Okay, let's make a comparison together. Let's just watch this frog once. He's not standing on the floor or anything either. He's kind of just floating there, right? He's gonna go for a quick swim here. He's gonna push off of he's got some nice water to push off of, but he's kind of floating there. Let him turn a little bit, and then he'll go for a swim. Okay, now he's just kind of floating there. Okay, you tell me, is there any similarity between that frog and these people? Okay, let's see here. Here's what it looks like from inside the Dragon, looking into the space station. And let's watch the first person come out, okay? Tell me if this looks at all like that frog floating in that water. Tell me if there's some similarities, that if you saw this, if you didn't know about space, you didn't ever hear about an orbit, you didn't even ever hear about zero-G, you never even thought about it before, and someone shows you a frog, and someone shows you a person that's floating in zero-G, but you don't know what zero-G is. What would you compare it to a
And here we
frog,
come
possibly?
through. First one through the hatch is going to be Nicole Mann, commander of Dragon.
Okay.
And now the first Native
See how they
American
don't
woman
walk or
to
anything. They
live
float around and they
stay
gotta.
aboard the International Space Station.
Sorry. They have to, use their arms against something or whatever. Do you guys get where I'm going there? Okay. So let's look at this verse again. I saw 3 unclean spirits, like frogs, come out of the mouth of the dragon and out of the mouth of the beast and out of the mouth of the false prophet. So literally out of the mouth of the dragon, I mean that they're coming out of a dragon capsule. So I'm just pointing out things that, it's not some controversial thing that I'm saying. Of course it is if you believe that the astronauts are these great people. But what am I saying here? I don't even know exactly what I'm saying. But to me, after looking at Enoch 17, where it's talking about this place of darkness, and there's a mountain whose summit reached up to heaven, and it's the place of the luminaries. Okay, that's where space is. That's something that I'm not making this up. I'm not changing any. I'm not interpreting anything. If we read what Enoch says here, he says he saw these. He just said those who were there were like flaming fire, and when they wished, they appeared as men. Okay, so I'm just connecting some dots here. Okay, and they brought me to a place of darkness. Okay, so that's what I think there is. Now, this was weird because I did 0G in space. I'll just do it again here. Look at what comes up. It's kind of weird. In the search, like I go scroll down a little bit, and all of a sudden you see a frog in there. It was kind of weird. Look at that. I was like, that's weird. Frogs in space. But 0G. Okay, they are like frogs, you guys. And to me, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not even saying really what I believe. I have to, for me to believe something, I have to like let it sink in a little bit. I don't really know. But I think that, here's why. Okay. So let's look at this verse and let's look at the verse after. And that might show you something. So let me just rewind this so we can get a little bit ahead. So the verse after 13, so Revelation 16:14. Look what that verse says here.
The east might be prepared. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty.
They are, what does it say they are?
And out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Yes, Lev Kung Fu Shaolin says like frogs, not saying actual frogs. But and that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying what the astronauts, they appear when they're coming out of this hatch and all this. They're literally coming out of the Dragon capsule. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that they are frogs. I'm saying that if we compare this, that looks like their movement is exactly like a frog's movement in the water. The frog isn't standing on the bottom of the water or I mean on the, you know what I'm saying? They're floating in the water. They're just kind of floating. Just like every astronaut that's ever existed. And keep in mind, there's only been like, let's look it up, less than 600 astronauts, I think. People have been to space. 574 people. You know what? I'm going to venture to say that I'm starting to lean towards the idea that they're not people at all. There's 574 unclean spirits taking the form of people, coming down to the earth and advocating for their father, or for their master, the devil. So if we were to actually how many 574, okay, let's do a little, so let's just do 8 billion divided by 574. That means I'm not thinking right. What I'm saying here is that that's not even like hardly any people. What I'm saying is it's very not normal to go to space or to be in orbit or any of these things. You know, I also would have to say that low Earth orbit is not at all about orbital mechanics or any of the technical math and physics and things that we apply to those orbits, but rather a satanic miracle being performed. When you see the space station flying over, and you can track it, and don't be like the assuming flat earthers and just say that's an airplane, or it's a hologram, or it's something, it's not a space station. Don't say that, because until you've paid attention to it like I have, and I don't ask me why I have, but I've been made to track it and track the, like, a lot of the Starlink stuff. You can see this stuff in the sky exactly where the math and physics says it is. It's there. Now, what is it and what is there? Like, what is space? I think we've all maybe been thinking a little wrong about that. But they are the spirits of devils working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world. Is that what astronauts are? I know they look like people, and I know they claim to be people, but I also know that we live in a world of lies, and we live in a world that would rather believe the lie than actually seek out the truth, even in the truth community. And I'm not ripping on anyone. I'm just telling the truth. I'm just saying what it is. The people in the truth community think they have found some truth that's secure and that they can hold on to and that they know is the truth. But there's so many assumptions made in there. And also that so many of those people claim to be Bible believers, but they actually don't believe what it says in the Bible about this deception that happens, that Satan deceives the whole world. A dragon deceives the whole world. It doesn't say that there's an elite group that know the truth. It doesn't say that there's an elite ruling class of people that hide the shape of the world or anything like that in the Bible. It does tell about a deception that deceives every person on the earth, though. And I can see one happening right now that has deceived every one of us. And some of us have come to truth, very important truth that shows us, that makes us question some of these things. I wouldn't even be having a stream like this talking about frogs and zero G and like what frogs are like, and I wouldn't be doing any of that if it wasn't for what's written in the scriptures. We just looked at Enoch, and I mean, that's quite shocking information to me, that there's this place of darkness, and when the things that are there, or those who were there, were not actually people. They were evil spirits. They were unclean spirits, but they could make themselves into people. I mean, that sounds crazy right there. Oh, you believe in an evil spirit that can make itself look human? Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, I do. I think that's, if you don't believe that, you're probably just going to be fooled by whatever those people tell you, right? So I'm not trying to make this a super long stream. I just wanted to share that. I don't know how to even do a... Lev Kung Fu Shaolin says, is the dragon supposed to be Satan at Effed World? Let's just do a little, because I would have to say that yes, I think it is. And I'm talking about a metal space capsule. I think that's Satan. And people are like, Satan's not a rocket. You know how many times I've heard that in the last 7 years? Satan's not a rocket. Everyone tells me that. I'll bet you anything that he is. Let's just do Bible Hub. Whoops. Because if we look at Bible Hub and we look at Revelation 12. I mean, it just straight up says that the dragon is Satan, but it doesn't say that the dragon is SpaceX Dragon. But John was seeing a dragon up in the sky. So I only know of one dragon that we can see up in the sky, and that would be SpaceX Dragon. And it happens to resupply and bring cargo to this other, miraculous marvel that NASA has, this throne in the sky that they have, this city in the sky that they believe they have up there. See, don't you see that this is Babylon? This is Babylon the Great. Space, I'm saying, the solar system. Everything there is actually falling into outer darkness. But the things there have somehow enticed the world and become so attractive to the world that the world actually wants to go live there. Well, they will. They will go live there. But it's not what they think it is. I'm getting that. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if I can... Took me a while to get my computer to work to do this stream. I have to go through and just wipe everything off my computer. It's filled up with videos and things, and I always have a hard time getting rid of them. Yes, Captain Caveman says he seeks to exalt his throne above. That's exactly what Lucifer, says in his heart. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. What does NASA say for their mission statement? Exactly that. Same with SpaceX. Same with any space agency. All they want to do is the Tower of Babel take 2. That's something else we should look at. Is after Revelation 12, we should just quick look at the book of Jasher, chapter 9, because there's some interesting things in there too. So the woman and the dragon. So I want to point out too that when the prophets were shown these beasts and these wars and these things that were things to come, when they were shown those, a good amount of it was taking place in the sky. And when it says in heaven, that literally means they were looking up at the sky. They were looking up above them at the expanse, the huge sky that's above every one of us. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. Let's while I'm read this, let me just go, because this has significance, you guys. Let's look at this. Oops. Here. So what I have playing on this video, and it's not the best video, sorry for the quality, but what it is I'll try to fix it just a little bit. There, that might be a little better. Okay, what it is these are like the zodiac, and there's, see that woman coming up there, there's in Revelation 12 here, it seems like I think it was September 23rd, 2017. It seemed like that was fulfilled. Something happened in the sky that seemed to be described by John here, and it describes a woman being clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. So she was ready to give birth. And then it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So let's go to verse 7. Says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. So let me tell you what I think about that. Okay, so how is this SpaceX capsule? Let me pick a different background here and see if I can't get a dragon capsule on there for you, just so you guys, I want you guys to see this the way that I'm seeing it, because it's like really interesting. So there's a dragon capsule on there, right? How is that fighting with Michael? Well, Michael and his angels, let's let's talk about a physical fight. Okay, and I'm talking about, like fists. Like if you were going to take your fist and physically punch the wall, there's going to be some physics that happen there. Your hand's going to hit the wall, and the wall's going to not want to move, and your hand's going to go, ouch, and it's going to bam. So how would that physical fight be happening between this dragon and Michael and his angels? Well, Michael and his angels, four of his angels are holding back the four winds from destroying the earth, from hurting the earth. And that, like, when they let go of those winds, the destruction happens on the earth. So it says in Revelation 7, I think, it says that it was given to those angels to hurt the earth and the sea and the trees and whatever. So yeah, a physical fight. And I'll show you what that kind of looks like here. The four winds, we know what that is. What if something was going to go through those winds and do something like this? Okay, this is a dragon, the SpaceX Dragon launching in the background there. I'll get it so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, that's a SpaceX Dragon. Do you guys get where I'm going? What is God's weapons? Good question, Captain Caveman. Truth is one of his weapons. Because if you look up at the sky, and I just have to say this, if you say that's all being faked, okay, I totally disagree that it's being faked, but I 100% agree that it's total deception. So if you can make that make any sense, but Zoran Rocha says, in my opinion, I saw the correlation between 2017 and the Word. But the devil was thrown down to the earth many, many years ago. Jesus says he is the prince of the earth, so he is not back in heaven 2017. Well, there's a dragon, though. There's a dragon in heaven, and it's on your screen. I'm just saying, if like in Daniel's visions, the beasts, they were made of metal. They were made of iron, and they had brass nails. They were made of metal. And he saw them and said that they had horns. They looked like horns to him. Yes, Justine, I totally agree. They believe in what they're doing. They believe it. They think that is their future. They think that it's a good thing to go to these places and to try to make new worlds. But so that's how I see this. Where was that question? I'm sorry. Dwayne Glower says beast and false prophet ? That's well, I think that the beast, this should be somewhat clear. The dragon in Revelation, it says the dragon gives the beast his power, seat, and great authority. So as far as that, I think that the beast is this eighth wandering star that we see up in our actual sky. I think that is the space station. Just like the Tower of Babel, that men built it, but it was like an abomination. But men built it, and it was their desire to build against the Lord God. But I'm sure that it wasn't in front of their minds. I'm sure they weren't saying, I'm building against you, God. They were actually just doing what was in their heart, and it was put in their heart by Satan or Lucifer or whatever. I'm just looking at the chat before I... So Zoran Rocha says it's a description from when the devil was cast down. And that's exactly what I'm saying, is that's happening now. I don't think the devil was cast down where there's this idea that like the devil and his angels were cast down, or a third of the angels or whatever were cast down. I don't even know where that comes from. I truly don't. And Revelation 17 is not 17, I'm sorry, but the book of Revelation is actually future events from when it was written. So from 2,000 years ago till now, if those events were happening, I would call it fulfillment of Scripture. But I don't think that Satan was cast out of heaven like long ago or something like that. I don't like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't think that I have ever read that. I've only heard people say that idea that, you know, the angels were cast out a long time ago, like maybe even before man or something like that. I have only heard that. I've never read anything that would lead me to believe that. So let's see. Captain K-Man says, how to say what it says from a time before, now powerful. Yeah, and that's that to and fro on lightning. And you know, like in the book of Daniel, when the in chapter 7, when the what is it called, God, in there? The of days, something of days. I'm having a mind block here. Until the Ancient of Days came. The Ancient of Days, look how he showed up. Let's just look at that. It's interesting. Just think of how a rocket flies, what it looks like. There's a big flame of fire coming out of one end of it, right? Shooting like away, like towards where it's going away from. Let's just look at Daniel 7. Just read that a little bit. It's just like, these are blasphemies or false imitation signs and wonders being done. We got just a moment here. My computer seems to be slowing itself for some reason. But it says that when it describes, I don't have my Bible right here, otherwise I'd just read it. I'm waiting for my, let's do this. I'll bring you over and show you what I'm looking at. Device, desktop, okay. Revelation 7, I actually was trying to go to Daniel, but we'll see. Let's see. Ooh, that is hard. Daniel 7. Might take a minute, but it describes God's chariot or whatever he shows up on. It describes it sounds like it's like a rocket or something. Oh, we're in Daniel 1. Sorry, guys. This is why I gotta clear my computer out. This is why I haven't been live streaming very much. I just have to, either that or I have to get a new computer. I think it's just, there's so much going on. And I mean, look at my 77 YouTube notifications I haven't even clicked on. Oh boy. Let's try this again. Daniel 7. It's very interesting how it describes, I don't know, I wouldn't even call it a vehicle. I'd call it like God's entourage. I really don't even know what you'd call it. So look what it says here. Verse 9, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Just think of what a rocket looks like. Do you think they're trying to imitate God or trying to... I mean, it's a fiery stream issued and came forth from before the Most High God. I'm not saying he comes on a rocket. What I'm saying is a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Okay, that seems like what a rocket does in the sky, up in that darkness. Anyway, what I'm going to do is thank you guys all for at least hearing me out. I'm just sharing my thoughts and what I'm realizing in my own mind, and some of these things I even have trouble comprehending what is actually sort of presenting itself, just by making some simple comparisons and things like frogs. Things like frogs. That's kind of weird, but I do think that the astronauts, although they probably seem like great people, you could probably meet them and they could probably go to dinner with you and you would probably think that they're great to hang out with, or that, whatever, they're just normal people. I am starting to think differently about what these things are, what these people are. Are they going forth out to the kings of the earth to gather them against God? I think so. So anyway, I'm going to, let's see, maybe I'll try to play a video. I don't know. I wonder if I'll get kicked off of YouTube for playing that. I bet you I would. They'd probably end my stream. Let's see. Yeah, let's just look at this right here. Here's just another little thing. I mean, some of these things, they make a lot of sense if you look at them a certain way.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. In this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking
version
great
1
things.
spacecraft up there, and we're now about to fly sort of version 2 and version 3. And with each one, we're able to make the reusability of the heat shield better. So
Whoops, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That's a 2-stage rocket, you guys. First and second stage. And
it ablates less as it enters, and so we're able to get more flights. So that's Dragon version 2.
I beheld then, because of the voice of the great word which the horn spake. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things. In this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things.
okay, guys, let's wake up to what God is showing us. I mean, there's not like the way that Daniel described some of these things. Whoa, how does that happen? And Captain Caveman, thank you for bringing up Solomon, the demons of Solomon. That's an interesting, a whole different story. That okay, so let's do a little research and then we'll end the stream. I just want to show you guys this stuff is not coincidental. Whoops, let me move my mic here so I can actually type. Sorry. Let's look at the, whoops, you guys can see what I got. Testament of Solomon. He talks about demons carrying these big, huge pillars up in the sky. You know, like, think about what landing a rocket. It's like 200 and some feet tall, like 20 stories tall, and they're landing it, and it's like a massive thing. Let's just check this out. Is there a good place to go read this? We could watch it, I guess, or listen to it. I have a video I've made about this. Let's just see here. PDF. Let's just find a PDF real quick. Some of them are a little different. You know, they're worded differently or whatever. Okay, so this is interesting stuff, guys. Let's go down to the end here. Okay, so there's a demon of the Red Sea that when the Red Sea was parted and the water came back in, he was trapped under the sea, underneath a pillar, underneath the great pillar. Okay, let's just read a little bit here. And this is the demon Epiphus, or Ephippus. I'm sorry, Ephippus was a demon of the was the demon of the wind. Okay, of the wind. let's just look at 124 here. It says, and Ephippus led the demon of the Red Sea with the column, and they both took the column and raised it aloft from the earth. And I outwitted these two spirits so that they could not shake the entire earth in a moment of time. So they were, apparently, they were going to be doing something with this pillar, with this column, I mean. Okay, and says, and then I sealed round with my ring on this side and that, and said, watch, and the spirits have remained upholding it until this day, for proof of the wisdom vouchsafed to me. And there the pillar was hanging of enormous size in midair, supported by the winds, and thus the spirits appeared underneath like air supporting it. And if one looks fixedly, the pillar is a little oblique, being supported by the spirits. And it is so today. And actually, these spirits, it says something, I don't know where it is, it says that when they let down that pillar, that's going to be the end of the world. Where is that? Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. So it talks about demons carrying a pillar in the sky. And then it even says, but when men see it, they don't see the demons. They just see the pillar. Where is that? Maybe it's down lower here. Let's see. Okay, right here. I therefore Solomon, this is 127. I therefore Solomon, having heard this, glorified God and adjured the demons not to disobey me, but to remain so supporting the pillar. And they both swear, saying, the Lord thy God liveth, we will not let go this pillar until the world's end. But on whatever day this stone fall, then shall be the end of the world. You guys, they're landing rockets. You could go watch it in Florida. Lots of people do. There's probably been more than 1 million people have seen one of these pillars being borne through the air, midair, and coming down, making fire come down from the sky and landing on the earth. And the world believes in that because they think that's for their future. Reusable rockets, that's what's going to continue this. That's what's going to keep this world going. So let me try to grab a video here, and just a short one, to give you an idea of, pretty much an idea of what I'm trying to point out. It's really hard to put all this to words. Zilron Roach says, which book? That was the Testament of Solomon. Let's see. Yeah, No End Media. Do you know anything about that? That's Solomon prophesies Emmanuel 6:44. I was listening to that, and it says, it talks about because all these demons that Solomon was questioning, and because he had wisdom from God, that the demons just had to do what he said. And I don't really know exactly all the details, but they were subject to Solomon on the earth. They had to do what he said, and they even had to be honest with him. And I don't really know how that works, but one of the things that he would ask them is, which angel frustrates you? And he would say, they would all get, Uriel is the one that frustrates me, or whatever. I don't really know exactly what it means by frustrates, but I think torments or keeps, it has dominion over, or watch it over, or whatever. So these spirits, they all have an angel that is, it's the boss of them. When they get out of line or something, it said there was certain things that you could say to it or write down or whatever to these demons that would make them retreat. Okay, and so that's why Solomon was asking them which angel they're subject to, basically. And so many of the demons said the Son of God, or the elect one, or the I can't remember all the different phrases that it used, but so many of them were frustrated by Jesus. So many of them. They're like, he's the one that frustrates me. And one of the times when it's talking about it, one of them says, and his number is 644. And so I don't know what that means, but it's very interesting. You know, I really don't know. I really don't know what that means, but it's interesting. So, yes, let's see here. Where is that video? Oh, it's going to be in here, maybe. Where are we? Do you hear his voice, you guys? That's just a video I saw the title of, but do you? I do. I hear his voice. Not with my ears. Let's see. It's not in this folder. So, support the clouds. The pillars of the earth. Let's see. I gotta go to a different folder, I guess. I think dominion was given to it. Foundations of the earth. Sorry, guys. Looking at... I could sit and watch videos that I've made for a long time and probably not be bored. Lots of videos. Okay, here we go. A new folder, or a different folder here. A 4-dimension coin funnel. Let's look at that. A 4-dimension coin funnel. Sorry, guys.
There is a bit of an education process that's needed to understand orbital dynamics, because a lot of people are confused of like, why the heck are you landing a rocket on a ship in the ocean? That seems pretty inconvenient. And the reason is because that going up and staying up is actually about velocity horizontal to the Earth's surface. So there's a huge difference between space and orbit.
Sorry, I'm pausing it because welcome EMBO says, hello, what is this live stream about? This live stream is about something crazy. I guess it's crazy. I mean, what I'm kind of thinking is that I'm thinking that the prophets that wrote the scriptures and Enoch and, you know, like we were just talking about the Testament of Solomon, these prophets saw rockets in the sky, and they called them beasts. They didn't really know what they were, but they visually described the things that they do, ascending up to the sky. And let me play an example after this video, because it's a thing that the thing that I'm saying that's crazy is that astronauts, although they're people, I'm starting to believe that they're not actually people. That they're unclean spirits working miracles from their realm of darkness, from their prison, where they're imprisoned. They're doing this. Let me go to videos, right? Videos. And what I'm saying is that, okay, let me show you one beast that Daniel, the prophet, described. And I called this video, can you see this? We'll come back to Elon Musk here. But this is interesting stuff. If we pay attention to what the words actually say, what these, you know, like the word up means up, you know, it's simple. If we don't change the words, they're describing something that we have in our world today. Check this out.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. And it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. And it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
So do you guys see where I'm coming from there? 50 years ago wouldn't have meant nothing. That this video that we just watched would have been like, what is this weirdo saying? Because there was 50 years or 100 years, let's say, there was no such thing as a rocket going, being put up on its end and then lifted up into the sky with wings, and then Daniel watched it as the wings were plucked thereof. Do you guys remember in 2011 when the shuttle retired and literally its wings were taken away? I mean, like, when a pilot gets grounded and they take his wings, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's grounded. It's not going in the sky anymore. So let's see here. EMBO says, I just wanted to go ask, why do you have something impossible on the flat earth as a thumbnail of live stream about it? Circular star trails would be possible on the dome, only on the North Pole. No, that's not true at all. Let me, just for you, EMBO, I have a video. It's, if you're really actually open to understanding the star trails in a way that you probably haven't because of the way that you worded that comment there. If you're actually interested, this video, there is a way to, you've heard of stellarium, right? And people will say that's programmed from a globe. Well, no, it's actually programmed from real-time observations of the sky from the ground. That's what it is. So if you look at stellarium and you compare that with the sky anywhere in the world, it's an accurate depiction of the sky. There's nothing to do with the globe, though. So if you are, I'll try to explain it. Actually, you know what? Let me just see if I can find the video. It's probably something that it might interest you to think of it this way. There's a different way to see the sky. Because I think what you're doing too is like there's two axes of rotation in our sky above the earth. There's one in the south and there's one in the north. And when you are standing on the ground, up is above you, like your zenith is directly above you. But if you look in front of you, you're not looking up necessarily anymore. So there's an angle from looking directly parallel, or let's say straight in front of you, up to that 90-degree zenith. There's angles, right? So when we look in the sky, okay, good. I'm glad you're interacting. Thank you, EMBO. Yeah, I use stellarium and it uses the celestial sphere. Yes. I agree with that 100%. So let me find this video. I know it. Bear with me. I'm sorry. It takes me a moment or a little bit of time. My computer's a little slow, and then also I don't necessarily know where everything is on my computer. Pictures. Okay, here we go. Let's see. On my channel, it's called So About the Stars, but I think I have a video that I should be able to find it and just play it, I think. Bear with me. There's an interesting way to understand the sky, and it's actually, you have to keep in mind the observations we make from the ground. Like, I know we can all go in our mind and kind of go up in the sky and look at things from there, and I understand that. But what to understand I guess, a different way. I mean, I would think that anyone interested in, what is actually going on or what is actually the truth, I would think that anyone interested in that would actually want to entertain ideas that other people have learned that do make sense. I mean, if you ask me, it makes a lot more sense than what I was taught. So let me find this. I'm working on it here. Where is that? I think I named it So About This. We might even have to watch it on YouTube if I can't find it. And apparently I'm not finding it. Let me see if I can just pull it up on YouTube real quick. Sorry, guys. I even used MC Toon and Fight the Flat Earth in this video too. Looks like I have to put my channel name. Okay, let me bring you over to the desktop. We're gonna watch it on YouTube. Okay. So why don't I have it there? Okay, we have to go to my YouTube studio. Sorry about this, guys, but I do want to show you. Oh, okay, yeah, EMBOS. I'm glad you're still here and interacting. It says Michael Kahn, flat Earth propagates dome with one axis of rotation, and that's not actually true at all. That's not. The stars all rotate in one direction, even though there's two axes of rotation. Okay. And a lot of people, pushing the globe idea is that they say that, well, there can't be 2 points of rotation over a flat Earth if the stars are all going one direction. I'm like, I understand what they're saying, but that's not true, because if you're looking to the south, to the Southern Cross or whatever, and you do time-lapse photography, you're going to see the stars going in a clockwise rotation. Like in your Star Trail video, you'll see the stars doing clockwise circles around that south point. But if you do it in the north, if you do it in the northern hemisphere or whatever, you will actually see the opposite rotation, right? So you'll see counterclockwise rotation. Like I live in Minnesota. If I point my camera at Polaris, I see counterclockwise rotation. But that's because I'm actually facing north. In order for anyone to be looking at the north, the pole star, Polaris, whatever, if you're looking north, to see that Southern Cross, you have to turn yourself around 180 degrees. And, there's a way to understand that. The stars are all rotating. They're all rising in the east and setting in the west everywhere on Earth. They're not switching direction at the equator or something. They're all going the same direction around 2 points of rotation, 2 axes of rotation. One in the north, one in the south. So, let me see here. Let's do this. So about the stars. I think that's what I called it. Oh, I hit enter and I didn't have to. Sorry, guys. There we are. Let's watch this. It's 12 minutes, and if you can watch it, I think there's something to learn here. Hopefully it's not going to just sit and buffer the whole time. Oh boy. I'm resorting to alternative methods here also. Oh, here we go.
This is Bob the Science Guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
You have a hypothesis.
Science.
you
If you're going to
test-
bring up science,
and
then
you
we're going to talk about
test-
stationary Earth.
Then you
You can't bring up science in this.
why
Are you serious?
Why can't I bring up science?
Because you
Of course I
deny
bring
the
up
only
science.
observations you make. You have if science won't reject the only observations that are made.
We don't notice the movement of the Earth.
Oh my gosh.
Well, 7.8 billion people observe an Earth that doesn't move. It doesn't move beneath us.
To us, the Earth seems to sit still.
Look at the room you're in. It's not moving.
Back to today's video. The Earth is flat. It appears to be flat. So something is wrong here.
Yeah.
But 1.0 is this only goes to like 0.999 because at 1.0 it's the top there. 1.0 is indefinitely far because the radius of the arc matches the radius of the Earth. So you can see indefinitely far.
I see. Yeah, like you'd see your own ass is what you're saying.
Yeah, if it were consistent and like
yeah, but that
far.
I've heard people say that. If the conditions were right, you could see your own butt.
Yeah.
From around the globe.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is just hilarious.
Yeah, and conditions could never be like.
Okay, so I try to make my videos a little bit fun, put a little bit of comedy in there, but there is a point to this. MC Toon says he observes the Earth rotate when he sees the sky rotate. So he's literally contradicting himself right there. But if we actually just look at it, like EMBO and Spare Room Music, you guys are awesome. Spare Room Music's been come to my channel for a long time. You're a moderator here. We totally disagree, but I have always respected you a lot because of you're very polite and just genuine through and through. So there is a time for people to get along, and I think that's pretty much always. But when there is something that a topic that's being disagreed upon, it doesn't mean that people have to be against each other or that one of them is dumb, or you know what I mean. It's some of these things are just an opinion or a belief that we see it a certain way, and that's the way we see it, and we'll try to share it with other people. And so that's really what's happening here. But I'm going to be talking about this. We're actually going to go on to Stellarium. So I was just showing this at the beginning of it. It's kind of fun. I'm on the space station, and I crack a little joke about. You'll see.
Like that.
So I am doing interviews. If anyone is interested.
The people only see you small for us. So just a second, I'll make it.
So that's
larger.
fine. That's fine. I just I've been up here for a while, and I frequent this station, and it's I actually have some information I'd like to share too about this station.
All right, let me
take your time. No rush, Michael.
It's all good. It's all good. Here we go. There it is. Everybody can see.
They can see me now?
Yeah.
I don't know if they can.
They can.
They? Okay. So I just wanted to tell you, the path of the ISS, like its trajectory.
Sure.
It's on the screen behind me. You see that?
Oh, yeah, okay.
That screen's flat. Just saying. How's that?
Oh, that's awesome.
We're going to look at Stellarium, where I have Stellarium. Okay, here we go. And we are in Colombia. We are in Colombia. We're on the equator, or close to it. So, I just want to explain what I have on the screen here, so everybody understands. We're looking north from the equator, almost the equator. See that star right above the N? That is the center star that all the stars go around, the north. Okay, I just want to point out that me and EMBO are on the same page here. We're in the video here, I'm pointing at the North Star there. It's just above the horizon, and we're in, what did I say? We're in Colombia. But EMBO says, same as you see, Polaris very close to the equator on the south because it's not perfectly aligned with the celestial pole. If you're standing at the equator and you look to the north, you will, Polaris will be very close to the equator, the horizon. And if you look to the south, the Southern Cross will be very close to the horizon. You're like halfway between the poles or whatever, or the whatever you want to call it, halfway between those axis of rotation of the celestial sphere, the pole star, whatever you want to call it, Polaris. So if we go like this, and if we go forward in time, we're going to see the stars going counterclockwise around that North Star, right? Very simple. Counterclockwise rotation. Well, all these comments I get tell me, and Craig from Fight the Flat Earth told me, no, at the equator, they switch directions. Sorry about that. Okay, so see how Polaris is right about at the horizon? So we're about at the equator looking north. And that's what we see. We see that counterclockwise rotation. If we turn ourselves around, we're going to see very much the same thing, but the rotation is obviously going to appear to be the different direction because we're turning
again,
around.
It's only this, I don't understand. You keep saying things that only work on a globe, and I don't understand how you don't see that they...
I don't think that it only works
globe.
on a globe. I think there's a very good explanation of how it works over a flat Earth.
There isn't one, though.
What I'm saying is anywhere you go in the northern hemisphere, above the equator, or you're going to see the stars doing circles around Polaris. Would you agree? I mean, that's what you see. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to Australia, you're going to see the same thing, but you're going to be looking at the south center of rotation. But it's south. Like what I'm saying is,
again,
I made
which
a
is
video.
something that's only possible on a globe. This is what's blowing my mind here. You
Okay,
keep
tell me
saying
why
things
it's only
that
possible on a globe.
Because the Earth
Tell me
is
why.
flat, you couldn't have counter-rotating star trails.
Well, they're not counter-rotating. They're all
They appear
rotating
to
the
be
same
based
direction.
on the. If you look
because
up at the sky, they appear to rotate in counter-rotation in different ways. That's undeniable.
it's because you turned around.
And that would not. Yeah, but okay, that would mean that the flat Earth was inside out, though.
No.
Yeah.
No, let me explain. I think you can understand this. I think you can understand because I remember the last debate we had, or last time, or one of them, you had mentioned that at the equator that the stars switch directions, like the
Right.
direction of rotation switches, and that's not true. No matter where you are, if you're in the north, you're going to have the stars rising in the east and setting in the west, correct?
Yes.
And it's the same in the south. It's you turning around that makes them appear to be going a different direction. Well, I'm here to show you how simple it is of a misunderstanding. Okay, so we're just going to look at this again. We're going to go back to there, okay? So we're going to go forward in time. So like as time goes, the direction that time goes, and watch the stars going in a counter or anti-clockwise, right? Okay, so now we will simply turn around to the south and we will look. Now, going forward in time, just like time goes, we are seeing clockwise rotation. You see that? Are the stars going the same direction? Yes. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, let's look to the west. Okay, now as we go, let me skip back here. Okay, as we go forward in time, we're going to see the stars going down towards the horizon, setting, right? Setting in the west. No matter if you're looking north, they're still setting in the west. Or if you're looking south, they're still setting in the west. Even though they're going, from your point of view, they're going different directions. They're going opposite direction of each other. But that's because you turned around. Don't turn around. We're going to go around the world a little bit on Stellarium just so I can show this over and over again. Okay, going forward, clockwise, looking south. Okay, clockwise looking south. We turn around to the north, counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, whatever you want to call it, looking to the north. Setting in the west, we turn to the east, rising in the east. Okay, We're at the equator in Colombia. So now, here's where we were, right there in Colombia. Okay? So that's where we were there. Now we're going to go to where I live, which is in Minnesota at 45 degrees. And now we're going to look north again. Okay. Same thing. Anti-clockwise. Around the same star. But you notice the star's in a different position now. Remember it was right above the N before? When we were south farther? That's because how everything in the sky ever that's going away from you will appear to go down towards the horizon. As you go further away from it, it's going to get closer and closer to the horizon. Very much like a jet flying away from you. It's eventually going to run into the trees, and then you won't be able to see it anymore. This is very much the same of what Polaris is doing here. Is we're closer to Polaris now than we were in Colombia. Anti-clockwise, okay? Now we simply turn around to the south, and what do you expect for us to see? I expect us to see the same thing again. Clockwise is what I expect to see. There we go. Set it. Okay, so I think you get the point there. I'm going to go through a couple of these comments. You guys are leaving some good comments here. There is an observation that I've made that you can look at it, you can, go make the observation in reality, or you can make it on a program like Stellarium and you'll get the same result. And it's actually the opposite of what MC Toon has told me, and it's the opposite of what a lot of people have told me about the star rotation. They say that there's two opposite rotating directions of the stars, and there's not. So we all know that they rise in the east and set in the west. And this misunderstanding of looking one direction, and you know what? I think I have a video where I actually was out of town and I was in a hotel and I explained it. Let me see if I can find that. Because I actually was spinning my hand, or like I did a kind of a demonstration of, let's see, where is it? Oh, where is it? I hope I can find that, if I have it. I don't know where it is, guys. Let me just play this video. Let's watch this. This is called Beware of False Science. The idea of Earth rotating has never been observed by you or me or anyone in this chat. We've only observed the opposite, a non-moving still Earth. And
I disagree.
I'm not saying
I've observed the rotation of the Earth. When
no,
the sky,
you
when
haven't.
The stars
you may
rotate
have,
in opposite directions.
No. No, but you're observing the stars rotate. You just said that.
That's an observation.
Yeah, the stars rotating. That doesn't mean you saw the Earth rotating.
I take that observation to mean that we're on a rotating sphere.
See, that's pseudoscience. You're taking the opposite of your observation and pretending that that's what you observe. MC Toon. I understand that you do, but that's purely a concept that you don't observe.
All right. I've observed the rotation of the Earth. They've observed the rotation of the Earth.
No.
When you follow science, the observation doesn't match reality. It means nothing if it's just an observation. We have science. You can't just go, it looks like, because my camera was still, that the sky is rotating, therefore that's what we're going with. That's not how you do science.
But the sky is literally rotating.
No, it looks like it's rotating.
So do you guys hear what's happening here? I'm saying the sky is literally rotating. In reality, the sky rotates above us. It does. There's no argument for that. There's no debating that. That happens because if you point your camera somewhere, you'll see the stars moving in the viewfinder. You don't have to move the camera. Telescopes have sidereal motors because of this very reason that the sky is rotating. If the sky wasn't rotating, you wouldn't need these motors on your telescope that's solid mounted to the ground. Those motors they actually compensate for the rotation of the Earth, right? Well, that's not actually true. They're actually compensating for the rotation of the sky because the sky is rotating, okay? But you'll hear Craig here, he says, no, they're not rotating. They appear to rotate. And listen to what I said here.
Exactly. We experience it rotating.
Yeah.
We experience the sky rotating. If you live on the Earth, you experience the sky rotating above you. Here we go. We got some good comments and a couple of them. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, Cody Denise says, so you're saying that they are moving very, very fast up there. They are moving as fast as I don't really know, I don't know what exactly is happening. I just know that we see what we see. Let's see here. Moomin Rider had a comment that may be a little bit it brings up an interesting. Moomin Rider says, I'm in Minnesota. The stars appear to rotate clockwise to me. So there is, let's talk about that. Okay, I'm also in Minnesota, and if it depends on what direction I look to get the star rotation. So in Minnesota, if you face north, you will actually see the stars rotating counterclockwise. But if you turn around and face south in Minnesota, we're at 45 degrees here. If you turn around and face south, you will see clockwise rotation. That goes for anywhere on Earth. Okay, so facing north, you'll see, and I don't care where you are, you can go to Argentina or whatever in the southern hemisphere. Facing north, you will see counterclockwise rotation. Facing south, you will see clockwise rotation. Facing west, you'll see the stars all setting. Facing east, you'll see the stars rising. That goes for anywhere on Earth. So it doesn't have anything to do with the northern or southern hemisphere. It has to do with the direction that you're looking, north or south. So there's that. And then let's see here. Omega Genesis says they all go from east to west the same direction. That's 100% true. And then Roderick says, where was NYSTV last night? I'm not sure. I actually didn't see anything from them yesterday. Maybe they were doing it over on another platform or something. I couldn't tell you, Roderick. Let's see. Edgewise, welcome, says the sky rotates like gears within gears, like a clock. That's true. William Seifert says it's amazing to me that people can't understand how simple the explanation is. And I would have to agree with that. It is a very simple thing to make observations of the sky and to just, make a note in your mind of what the sky is doing. And we're going to get to some good comments. Welcome, Spheroidal Master. Let's get to some of these comments because they're good. He says, or she, Spheroidal Master says, nope, can't have two poles 180 degrees apart. Yeah, you can. If you look south, there's a axis of rotation. If you look north, there's an axis of rotation. There's two. If you stand at the equator, you can literally see if you face west at the equator, okay? Face west, Look to your left, you're going to see a center of rotation. It'll be close to the horizon. And if you look to your right, you will see a center of rotation close to the horizon. This is in reality. It doesn't have to be a globe or flat to observe this. It doesn't have to be any shape to observe this. It's just observations that we make from the ground. So yes, there can be two poles 180 degrees apart, because that's exactly what reality shows us. Let's see. Spiritual Master says opposite if you turn halfway around. Yes. I really want to find that video where I actually made a... where is it? Cartoon Science. Oh, it's right here. We'll have to skim through this, but I'll do a demonstration here in this video that shows you why you get... because Spiritual Master says opposite if you turn halfway around, counterclockwise facing north, clockwise facing south. That is true. Very, very true. Let's find this little demonstration here.
You're saying that, like, if you had the camera spinning, pointed at stationary lights on or whatever, or if you had spinning lights and a stationary camera, wouldn't you get the same thing?
If and only if the camera is directly underneath the center of rotation.
Oh, but you're saying that that would mean that the sky would have to be a solid piece that's moving, and the space between the stars doesn't change physically. That's the only way that you'd need to be underneath that, right? Because if you're pointing it like at an angle towards the ceiling, you're going to get different distances.
So going with the idea of flat Earth, the AE map, where the North Pole is the center, you'd have to be at the North Pole. Right? If you're at the North Pole...
if the stars were attached to a piece of cardboard, yes.
Or a dome, right?
Or a dome, yes. But why do you think the stars are attached to the dome? Did God get the Elmers out and glue them to the bottom of the dome or something? That's not what I believe, and I believe what's in the Bible. And in Genesis, it says God made two great lights.
Pausing it here. Spiritual Master, I'm not like that, man. You're welcome back. Thank you for coming. If you gotta go, you gotta go. Sometimes you gotta go. So, but I'm not. It's not seeming like you're running. I saw your comments on my channel, a few comments, and I think I might have replied to one. I'm not sure, but yeah, thank you for being at least willing to hear someone out. I think that deserves a lot of credit right there. So. We might disagree, but it's good to talk about these things. And there is Thomas Morgan in the house. Thank you. He says, or they're riding on the winds of heaven. Yeah. Enoch said the winds of heaven turn and bring the circumference of the sun and the stars to their setting. So there's an ether, or whatever you want to call it. People don't like that word ether, but there's a medium that all these stars are in, and they're on the medium turns. And these stars are, like, I don't know, flying or freely floating or whatever. But this medium, and I'm saying the word medium. Thomas is more accurate saying the winds of heaven. So, but here's what I'm trying to do a demonstration, like visually here from this little hotel room that I'm in New Jersey. So, check this out.
And he set them in the firmament of the heaven. And if you read other places in the Bible and other books, they freely move through gates and on their tasks and orbits within the firmament. He set them in the firmament of the heaven. He didn't glue them to a piece of cardboard in the sky or a piece of glass in the sky.
And the dome is rotating versus...
But if you're right.
Versus a globe.
You get ovals.
You get ovals. You got it. Yeah. So if to the side, you get ovals if you're not in the center.
But that's not what happens on the Earth.
You're right. We don't get ovals.
No, but we shouldn't get ovals because we get circles. That's the whole point. Is it on a flat Earth? See, that's going to this AE map or whatever. No, you just said that you just brought up the AE map, and that's the problem. There is no map that is going to, because in reality
Sorry, guys. I gotta just pause it for a second and let my computer catch up. It's getting a little bit skippy. Okay, let's see here. This should work.
Because that's just like a fairy tale. We're not talking about ovals. We're talking about circles.
But it's testing. It's science. You have a hypothesis.
Science. If you're going to bring up science,
then
then we're going to talk about stationary Earth. For your information, it is not science to have 7.8 billion people living in a world that to them, throughout all of the day and the night, it doesn't move. It's completely stationary. It's not science to infer the exact opposite and believe that it's rotating. Sorry, Toon. You're not doing science.
Then you
can't bring up science in this.
Why?
Are you serious?
Why can't I bring up science?
Because you
Of course I
deny
bring
the
up
only
science.
observations you make. You have if science won't reject the only observations that are made.
Oh my gosh.
Well, 7.8 billion people observe an Earth that doesn't move. It doesn't move beneath us. Look at the room you're in. It's not moving.
But what's the hypothesis and how is it measured?
Well, the observation is that we're not moving. But then,
What's the hypothesis?
I don't really
And
care.
how did you measure it? How did you quantify? How did you
We don't have to
test it?
measure it.
No, we're talking about science.
No,
Science.
listen.
You get a hypothesis.
You're making observation.
You need a hypothesis.
The first thing you have to do is throw your observation out because your idea, your intellectual idea, goes against your only observation you make.
no,
so
no.
you must make up a different reason for it.
But
Am I right?
But my observation is that I see opposite rotating celestial poles. That's my observation. I see two different rotating poles.
Okay, guys, listen. This is where Toon is wrong, and I'm not saying I'm right. He's wrong. I'm saying Toon's misunderstanding something here, and I'm going to explain it in a way that anybody should be able to understand it. It's just a different way of thinking, but it's the only way that makes sense. So,
Okay, so you're saying they rotate in opposite directions? Because they don't.
They do. One is
No, they don't.
clockwise, the other is counterclockwise.
No, that's because you're turning around. See, Toon, what you're doing here is you're trying to act as if you know something.
God bless Michael Kahn. Thank you for hanging out, brother. Good to see you as always.
Something that you clearly don't know. If we live in a world where no matter where you are, the stars are rising in the east and setting in the west, why are you saying that there's an opposite rotation in the north and in the south? Do you not realize that if I face this camera right now and I go clockwise, which way does that look like to you? Is that clockwise? Okay, so I'm going to keep my hand going clockwise, and I'm going to turn myself around, and look at that. I'm seeing counterclockwise. And I'm still going clockwise. Do you see that? If you're on the Earth and you're facing south, you're looking at a different part of the sky than if you're facing north. No matter where. The stars all rise in the east and set in the west. They're all going the same direction. So what you're actually doing, and you'll see this coming up in this.
Okay, so that was why I wanted to show that. EMBO, you've been mentioning the stars going underground. And I understand why you're saying that, because they appear to go down into the horizon. But the way I understand that isn't that there's never any stars underground. They're always up in the sky. The sun is always up in the sky. The moon is always up in the sky. It's never under the ground. Once it goes and hits that horizon, we don't see it anymore. Okay? So what we do know from observation is that, like with time zones, we have time zones, and when you see that star go down where it appears to go under the ground, someone not far from you sees that star up in the sky. Okay? And the assumption being made is that that person is seeing it from a different angle of ground. Like if they're 700 miles away, then they see it at 10 degrees difference. Okay? But that's not actually the truth. It's an assumption. So one way Toon says, that he does science, right? And he actually doesn't. He actually does the opposite. He denies and rejects the science that he claims to do. And I think I can give an example here in this same video of that. He's imagining that he's going upside down when he's actually not going upside down. Kind of like you're talking about the stars going underground. They never do. They're always up in the sky. Anyone that's ever seen the stars, it's been nighttime and they've been up in the sky. Let's just listen to a little more of this.
This video is you're pretending that you understand something that you have no grasp of, which is strange because I wouldn't expect you to do that. The stars all rotate in one direction. You're turning from north, where we live. No, you got to hear me out, Toon. I don't want you to be in error like this.
I don't want the third. I've already got 2 flat Earth videos, flat Earthers on video, not understanding counter rotation.
Let me explain something. If we're in Minnesota right here and Polaris is at 45 degrees, which direction are you facing to look at Polaris? You're facing north.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, and we're getting a counter or an anti-clockwise rotation that we see going around that point in the sky.
Yes.
What happens if you turn 90 degrees left? You're going to see them going down. And if you look to your right, like say you're at the equator, you're going to see, if you're looking west, everywhere on Earth, the stars are setting in the west, rising in the east, everywhere on Earth. They're all going the same direction. It's because you had to turn around. That's why they appear to go the opposite direction. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get where you're trying.
And you see it? Do the stars rotate in an opposite direction in the north and the south? No. In the southern hemisphere, if you face north, you'll see the exact same thing you'll see. The orientation or the rotation, the direction of rotation. You'll see the same thing as you see in the north. If you face south, you're going to see the opposite as if you face north. They're all going the same way, Toon. So I like that you're laughing at me because it kind of shows me and anybody watching this video that you really are in a bad position when it comes to understanding something that I've learned recently. I'm not trying to be proud about any of this. I'm trying to share information that is true against lies that I used to believe. And when I started to understand what I was seeing in nature, reality, it's obviously true. And what you're believing about some opposite rotation of the stars is amateur. You clearly have not even tried to understand what some of us flat earthers are trying to share with you. And I would suggest that you should. You don't have to be a flat earther, but if you understood why there are so many flat earthers, you'll see why the numbers of flat earthers only grows and the numbers of people believing in the globe only shrinks. There's a reason for that. There's not a point in the sky where the stars switch direction.
Correct.
Okay, so don't say that they're opposite rotation.
No, one is counterclockwise, the other is clockwise. That's the point.
That's because you're perceiving it from a different direction.
That's my observation.
Yes.
Okay, so that's his observation. I just want to point this out, you guys. He's saying, just after I showed him that's only your only apparent from where your position is and the direction you're facing, this counterclockwise and clockwise thing. That only happens from the direction you're facing. You can be anywhere in the world and face north, and you're going to see counterclockwise. Go to the southernmost point and look north. You will see the stars going counterclockwise. It has nothing to do with northern or southern hemisphere. It only has to do with the direction you're looking.
Okay, and the hypothesis is that we are on a rotating sphere.
So your hypothesis is that we live on, down here, beneath my feet, that's a rotating sphere. So your science is making a hypothesis. You're making a hypothesis that the ground is rotating. And the problem with that is that's pseudoscience, because you don't make an observation of the ground rotating or in any kind of motion. You observe the opposite. So you make an observation, throw it out the window, even though it's what you experience. And then what do? You laugh at me because I'm trying to point it out to you. Yes, I understand.
So then the test is, does that observation match, does the prediction of being on a rotating sphere match the reality? And yes, it does, because on a rotating sphere, when you're at 45 degrees and you look north.
Okay, I'm just pausing it because I think that was possibly an accident. Zillerin, I think you deleted a comment that maybe you didn't mean to. EMBO says the fact that the direction of rotation is caused by direction you're facing is fact on both models. Thank you, EMBO. I'm glad you see that. That's a great understanding to have, because like you said, both models, whatever, any model, it doesn't matter. That's our observation. So and then they continue. I'm trying to find out, why does the south rotation create the same circle as on the north and pole? So sorry that was deleted. We weren't trying to do that, I don't think. I think that that's just the nature of reality, and I don't have the answers why the stars rotate. I don't have the answers why there's two axes of rotation. I just have the observations we make from the ground, and so I couldn't give you an answer why why the whole sky is doing this rotation. I don't know why. I mean, if you want to know my belief about it, my belief comes from, the Book of Enoch, chapter 71 is a big part of it. Changed my beliefs when he talked about going up with an angel taking him up to the heavens, and he described a lot of things, and one of the things he described was that at this in the center of all these stars was actually like a gleaming crystal house. It was actually like the North Star. He was describing actually a house, and it was a throne, and it was where God sat. And all the stars were actually angels, and they were flying and circling that house. They were flying around that house, and they were going in and out of that house or whatever. That he described it as the kingdom of God, in the kingdom of heaven. That is the sky, the stars, and the rotation. That's the heavenly realm. It's heaven. It's where God's throne is, and all the angels, they're like serving him or praising him, and they're circling him around him. And I can't tell you why everything is set up that way, but that's my belief that is actually what's happening. So when we look up at the sky, I mean, it says I don't even remember where, somewhere in Psalms, it says, lift your eyes on high and see who has created all these things. Like when we look up, we actually see the kingdom of heaven. We see all the angels, and we see God's throne, and like these are not just suns that are far away. So let's see some more comments here. And why is the equator place separating apparently both celestial spheres? It's just the center is all. It's not separating anything. It's actually not separating at all, because as you go from north to south, it's a gradual. The sky is you're going to see a different part of the sky as you go. It's not like you go from one to the other. It's just a gradual change, and it's not there isn't a place in the sky where, and I know you understand that, but some people don't, where the sky changes rotation or something. There isn't a place that does that. But I want to play this video here where Toon describes how his observation of the sky rotating tells him that he's on a rotating sphere, and what he's calling that science, and he's calling it an observation, but he's adding a bunch of phooey to the observation. He's also pretending that he's literally going from where he is to when he goes to another part of the world, that he's going upside down, but that never happens. We all know that. Nobody ever goes upside down in an airplane and circumnavigates the earth. The plane is always up, with the right side up and the ground beneath it. That's how planes fly. So even though there's a concept that you go, a degree every 69 miles or whatever, that's a concept, an idea, but it's never been observed, and there is actually no way to observe that, because if you go 70 miles, you're in that place now. So you say, well, I'm a degree different than you. No, you're not. Up is still the same direction. It's still up as far as observation goes. So no one's ever circumnavigated in a jet by going upside down and doing basically a front flip relative to where you started. That's never happened. And by the way, I saw DITRH in the chat. I always appreciate his work. He's an inspiration to so many people. Thank you, David, for what you do. We all appreciate your hard work. So let's listen to a little more of this video.
You should see
I agree with you.
The sky rotating in one direction.
Yep,
and if you're
I
at
agree with
45 degrees south and you look south, it should be rotating in the opposite direction.
Did you just see what his hand just did? Let's go back. So this motion that he does with his hands here, when he's talking about going to the south, you'll notice that he's doing this going upside down motion that nobody ever did. So that's why I'm saying it's pseudoscience. He's adding to his observation an observation he doesn't make.
That observation does the prediction of being on a rotating sphere match the reality? And yes, it does, because on a rotating sphere, when you're at 45 degrees and you look north, you should see the sky rotating in one direction.
Yep,
and if you're at 45 degrees south and you look south, it should be rotating in the opposite direction.
Because you're facing the opposite direction.
So that's a basic science experiment we can do, and it confirms the hypothesis that the Earth is a sphere.
One problem with your hypothesis is that you're pretending that you're in the north on this fake ball. So you're here and you're looking at 45 degrees and you're seeing counterclockwise rotation. Now you're telling me that you're going all the way down this huge curve. You're going literally upside down and looking in the sky at 45 degrees. How do you do that? How's that science? How do you look at the ground from upside down? See, that's not science. You're making things up in your mind. You're pretending you're on a globe and you're like, if I was on a globe and I went around and kept going and went under the bottom side and then looked up and see, you're making things up. It's not reality. You know what? When you face north, up is that way. When you face south, up is that way. It doesn't change. Just because you traveled a certain distance, it doesn't change. And there's no way to even know, except you have an idea that your 69 miles changes 1 degree, but it doesn't. It's actually the same for everyone. Australia is not upside down. Good day, mate. Okay, this is the conclusion of this short video. I'm out of town in a hotel. I got plenty of time. I'm making more of these if you guys want me to. I want to show that these guys are being fraudulent. Or maybe not, they're not trying to. But I want to point out the flaws in...
Okay, so there's that. I wore that one out. We're going to... and thank you for EMBO. I do appreciate you interacting and your input. I do. I think that is one of the best ways that any one of us can look at something. Look at what other people think. Look at what other people believe and their explanation, and try to understand what they're saying, because it can only give you insight. It's not going to harm you. You know, like say if you believe you're on a globe, a lot of people think, well, if I entertain any of this flat earth garbage, then I'll be looked at as a conspiracy theorist and a flat earth weirdo or something. No, how about this? Hear what they're saying. You don't have to give an opinion that's the opposite. You can be like, well, I totally disagree with that. But it doesn't harm you to hear what they're saying. It actually can only enlighten your understanding of things to hear other people's explanations or their thoughts about things. So I totally appreciate you coming and interacting politely, and I just got a lot of respect for people that can do that. That's like very hard to do. It is, because you know, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I just came to hear the derp or the flurfs," you know, and you're like, well, you've jumped on a bandwagon and you're not actually interested in you know, trying to understand what some other people are learning. So thank you, EMBO. I appreciate that a lot. Let's see. Matt Bingen, thank you. Jesus is coming soon. Yes, he's flying with the clouds of heaven, teaching us, you guys. He's teaching us things that we didn't know, things that none of us thought would be true. And by the way, let's see here. I just found, okay, I found one of the videos that I was trying to play earlier. Circle Knot Globe. Okay, let me find something here. We're going to end the stream here with a video. And I'm trying to choose which one we're going to watch. Oh, by the way, TikTok. I have 140. Let me look and see. I have. How do you get followers on TikTok, you guys? Because I've put it, like, I don't know, for a month now or so, I've been on TikTok. And I can't believe that more people haven't, like, found my channel or whatever. Let's see what it says here. On TikTok, I have 149 followers, 780 likes, and I have, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. I'm counting how many videos I have. 24, 27, 33, 36, 39, 42, 44 videos already. 44 videos on TikTok, and it's just effed up world at TikTok. I don't know. I don't even know how to do a link or anything. I really don't even know how to do a link. What if I do, let's see, share or what? I have no idea. But I do like TikTok. Let me play this. I know you can't see it, but let me just play this video so you guys can hear it.
Unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty.
And then this is showing them.
And here we come through. First one through the hatch is going to be Nicole Mann, commander of Dragon, and now the first Native American woman to live and stay aboard the International Space Station. All hugs and smiles going around.
Wow. So, I don't know, you can't, or yeah, you can pause it. Okay. So, it's just interesting that these evil spirits, they were like flaming fire in that darkness, and they could take the shape of men when they wished. And it's interesting to me that John said that he saw 3 unclean spirits coming out of the mouth of the dragon. Wow, you guys. That's crazy. Like SpaceX Dragon. They're like come out like, wow. I don't even know, you know, like I'm still trying to figure out how to comprehend some of these things. Oh, by the way, let's go out with this one. Since David Weiss stopped by here, DITRH, we'll show how he has some great patience and can hold his own when dealing with people insulting him and you know, just being more rude than you could possibly imagine. This video is called Professor Dave Insults. I should have named it not a Professor Dave Insults, but yeah. This is how people that, when you take their ball away, this is how they act sometimes. Now, I have to say that the people in my chat that come here and that disagree with what I say, man, you guys are awesome. You guys have really been putting a good name to the debate of, you know, both sides. I'm saying you have an opposing view of mine. Your view opposes mine, but we still have great conversation, I think, and great, you know, discussion. But this is the other side of that. This is the ugly side of that we're going to watch here right now in Professor Dave. And it's a lot.
This is one of the easiest ways to know that the Earth is a sphere, because everything we see, everything, including the Earth, right, very large, massive objects are crushed into a sphere. That's why stars, planets, moons, everything pretty much is spheres. So you can now go ahead and do your like electric gravity bullshit, and then I'll explain to you why it's stupid. Because I watched 2 of your videos and you say the same crap in every single one. Okay, so it doesn't matter though. That's why what you're saying is stupid. No. Stop. So you do not know the ways in which we figure out things about celestial objects. You literally don't even know the definitions of the words that represent the techniques that we use. So why are you even talking about it? Study of how light interacts with matter needs to be in a container. What does that mean?
You know that the moon is solid. How come you can't see it during a new moon?
Why can't you see it during a new moon?
Yeah.
Because, do you understand how vision works?
Well,
right?
read by that moonlight. That moonlight casts a shadow on the ground. Don't interrupt. That casts, and it should light up the moon, but it doesn't, and no telescope, from any position with the infrared or anything has ever seen the moon.
Can you think of why? What you're doing right now is what are you talking about? Do you seriously not understand this stuff? A child can understand this stuff.
So when you...
What are you, like, Googling stuff furiously over there? Yeah, I just explained it. I just answered your question. You just answered it again. You asked a question that I just answered. The sun is very bright. Do you understand that if something very bright, looking at something very bright, you can't see something way less bright next to it? What are you not getting about that?
When there's a...
It doesn't block it out. The corona... Have you never seen an eclipse?
Why are we talking
No, stop. Look, I know that you want to just spew your script without anybody challenging, but you say so many stupid things, and I'm here to tell you why everything you're saying is stupid. So when you say stars igniting in a vacuum, the reason that's confusing for you is that you think stars are little bonfires because you're a moron. Because you don't understand nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion is the process by which stars glow. They're not little fireballs. And you can learn that by Googling something for 5 seconds, but you don't do it.
So, Dave, do you believe that all the rocky bits turn into perfect balls, and then all of the gases somehow start getting gravity, and they start pulling it together, and they get so
getting
big?
Gravity? What do you mean getting gravity?
How do they grow into stars? How come the dust is accumulating? What's bringing it together? Is somebody
gravity
it up like a snowball?
Gravity.
So they get something, and it's a tiny bit of gravity, pulls in some more dust. It pulls in, not dust, it pulls in gases. And somehow it's pulling all of these gases together and turning into a nuclear furnace that burns for billions of years. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense. And if you want to believe that, that's the world.
So centuries of brilliant astronomers versus nuh-uh. Is that really all you have? Is the entire field of astronomy and you going, I don't like it. That's dumb. I'm dumb and I don't get it. So astronomy is wrong. That's literally your argument against astronomy right now. If you're just going to lie, then we can just play the lie game.
And think about
what doesn't make sense? What doesn't make sense about an Earth orbiting a sun? That doesn't make sense isn't an argument.
Stop being a dick. Listen to what I said.
You stop being a dick. Yeah, if you just say it doesn't make sense and stop talking, I guess. We're probably going to get a better model later. Do you not understand how science works? So for that to work, how...
Did you guys catch that? We're probably going to get a better model later. That's how science works. Welcome to science, Professor Dave. You're getting a better model, but you're fighting against it, buddy. Just have to point that out. That is what science says. That science doesn't prove things. Science is an approach to knowledge, right? It's the avenue in which we gain knowledge about reality, the nature of reality.
How close is the sun?
How close is the sun?
How close is the sun?
Yeah, the
really
sun,
close, like right above the clouds, which we'd be able to see if you went up in a plane or a balloon, and it'd be like right there. Huh?
Dave, that works. We can scale it and make it
The
6,000
math
miles
works.
away.
You've never done any math in your entire life. You
Hey,
just
hey,
say
Dave,
the
Dave,
math
stop-
works
stop
and expect
saying-
people to.
Just stop being a condescending prick, all right? Try.
Why
Try
don't
for a
you
few
stop
minutes.
condescending to the entire human race and pretending that every scientist ever is a liar and satanic deceiver? That's much more offensive than me calling you stupid, which you
Dave,
are.
Dave-
Which number do you think is going to be bigger, buddy? Which one do you think is going to be bigger?
and so
The
when we have-
planet, the one that it is orbiting around. This is what happens is I say something, or a flat earth debunker like myself says something that just annihilates the idiotic thing you just said, and then you just gish gallop to another point. I would like you to admit that what you just said is stupid based on what I just said.
Repeat what you said.
I just explained to you why what you said about the sun and the moon is stupid. Isn't that neat? Isn't that a neat thing that we can do with math and numbers that are real things that scientists do instead of just going, it doesn't make sense, so that's dumb.
It doesn't work.
What do you mean it doesn't?
Dave, model it. You ever know about the 3-body problem? I'm sure you know about that.
Oh, the 3-body problem, so we can't do
Dave,
calculations.
Stop being such a condescending prick. We already know. Just talk normal. It
Because
doesn't
that's
matter.
really what we're talking about. What do you mean it
Again-
doesn't matter?
Again,
You're
David,
talking about a direction. I'm talking about clockwise versus counterclockwise when you're looking at the poles.
the opposite of the
poles.
sky. Yeah,
Huh?
well, you say the poles. So getting back to your point where you have somebody in Santiago, somebody in Johannesburg, and somebody in Australia, when they see the Southern Cross, well, they don't see it at the same time. They see it 12 hours apart from Santiago.
They don't see it at the same time, so people looking south can't see the night sky at the same time?
David, if you
Mhm.
understand what the flat Earth model is, if somebody's in Santiago,
You don't have a
and-
model.
Listen,
Yeah?
stop being a dick. Okay,
You stop being a dick.
If
Your
some-
entire existence is being a dick to
Hey.
all of science. So stop telling me
keep
to
going,
stop being
keep
a
going.
dick.
let's-
I just finished proving the Earth is a sphere by looking at stars, something that we've been doing for thousands of years.
Yeah, channel.
Oh,
it's
go
amazing.
look at some lies that a flat earther said. That is real evidence.
No, it's
sure.
it's Dave. It's well documented. You haven't looked at it, and then when you
Yeah,
right?
but the problem is you can't do math, so you just do the math wrong.
that would be equivalent to this. People say, "Oh, I'm just trying to think of the easiest." way
I'm just trying to
describe
think
it.
of something to say
Hey,
that
Dave,
will make
stop-
sense.
Stop being a dick. All right. Imagine you want to compare
Oh,
that.
man.
If you want to compare that,
What are you not understanding about that?
Our-
So tides exist, right? And so on your little pizza world, tides are these little mounds of water that kind of travel around. I don't really know how else you're going to explain this, but right, tides exist, right? Like Antarctica isn't real, so the South.
I'm gonna pause it here. I can't really take much more of Dave's. Yeah, that's that. There is no less respect you can give to someone than Professor Dave is doing. Like, that's just so rude. And I've had many people mention how his demeanor during this debate caused them to question the globe just because of how he's acting right here. Because when you take a child's ball away, they get crabby, I think. Like, that's the way I look at it. Like, DITRH can point out some things that Dave Farina just doesn't want to hear, but they're still actual things that are true. EMBO, some interesting things. EMBO says flat Earth is the poorest working model ever. And so is the globe. Have you ever seen Google Earth? If you look at Google Earth, there's big problems with Google Earth. And I learned this from Jeranism, and I still don't understand what is happening. But if you, I'm sure he has a video specifically about Google Earth. But I'm trying to understand what the reason why this happens. But let's just say you're in California, and you're on Google Earth, and you plot a line directly straight east, okay? And you just, put that line on there, and then you go to the place where the line ends, and if you plot west, so it should be the exact opposite place, should bring you exactly to the point where you plotted initially. You don't end up in the same spot. So east is not. If you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, and this is on Google Earth, you can test this out for yourself. east and west are not equal to each other on a globe. Like, you can't just go east and find yourself in the same spot that you would if you go west. Even though on the Earth we can, but on Google Earth that doesn't work. Okay? Those lines, like if you're in Minnesota and you go straight east, you're going to end up in a certain spot. And then when you end up at that spot, if you go straight west, you're not going to get back to where you were. So how does that work? The globe is nothing accurate at all. Zilrin, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming. Thank you. EMBO also said, let's see. Oh, yeah, about sun worship. Let's talk about that just really quick. It's not like you're bowing down to the sun, or I'll say me, okay? Because I lived in the same world as you. I've been there my whole life. I'm 45 right now. I was there for 37 years before I thought of something different, or before I realized I believed something different. So I know what that world is. I've been there. I've lived there. So it's not like I was bowing down to the sun and being like, "Oh, sun, I worship you." That's not what Thomas is saying. What Thomas was bringing up was in Ezekiel chapter 8, where God was showing Ezekiel. He took Ezekiel up to his temple in heaven, like up in the sky. He lifted him up by his hair. A spirit lifted Ezekiel by his hair, which I always think is kind of interesting. But he lifted him up by his hair, and he showed him all these abominations and wickedness that was being done. And he showed him some women that were, weeping for Tammuz or something. They're like worshiping false gods, basically. And he called that an abomination. But then he said, here, let me show you a greater abomination. So he's showing him, every time he showed him something, it was a greater abomination than the previous one. And the last one he showed him, he's like, look at this abomination. This is the greatest abomination, let me show you a greater abomination. And Ezekiel says, I saw 25 men that were standing like in the entry to the temple or something. They were in the temple of God, but they didn't even know it, I don't think, but they were facing the east and worshiping the sun. And if you think about what heliocentrism is, it is a sun-centered system. The solar system is exactly what God was showing him. He was showing him men that were doing something. They were looking to something else as the center of nature, or whatever you want to call it. The sun is not the center of nature, or the celestial rotations that we see, the movements. The sun is not the center of them, and nothing is, like, I guess you could say planets orbit the sun throughout the year, it appears, but the Earth never orbits the sun, and rather the sun orbits the Earth. And we see it every day. It rises in the east and sets in the west. The sun is on a course, not the Earth. The sun is what's moving. So there's that. So I think Ezekiel 8, what it means when they were worshiping the sun was they were sun-centered. They looked at the sun as being the center of creation or whatever, or our solar system. But that's really not, I don't think, true at all. But I think that's what God was showing Ezekiel, and he was calling it a great abomination, the things they do there. So, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is probably end the stream pretty soon. Thank you guys for checking this out, and I got to get my program up. We're going to play a fun one on the way out, because why not, right? Got to end it on a good note. Let's see. Okay, we'll end with this. I went on a rocket launch myself, and I realized something as we were soaring up through the G-forces up to the sky. So here we go. Thank you guys for hanging out, and keep it flat. Thank you. If you're not flat, then thank you for hanging out anyway. It's all good. I like to have conversations about this stuff no matter what your position is. And I appreciate that you entertain some of the things that I say. So check this out.
All right, we're off. I'm glad I get a couple minutes to hang out with you guys alone. I wanted to talk about something to you. We're going up to space, per se, in a rocket, and I don't know if it's such a good idea now that I thought about it. Because are we maybe lifting up a shout up against God? Jesus said in John chapter 3, verse 12, "If I have told you earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things?" And then listen to this, guys. He says this, "And no man ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man, which is in him." So what are we doing, you guys? What are we doing? What is the point of any of this?